welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. LeBron James' longevity is a fraud, right? The longevity of LeBron James is the biggest fraud in NBA history. And okay, folks, everything they tell you on TV, if you don't go back and look at the footage, the video footage, the games, the stats, then you will be deceived, right? These people that the NBA employ lie straight to your face. And when I say the NBA, it's because ESPN, Fox Sports, and people like this, especially these networks, work for the NBA, especially the NBA. I mean the ESPN. So ESPN is owned by Fox, and ESPN is owned by Disney. So it's the same thing, right? So ESPN and Fox, which is owned by Disney, they work for ESPN, right? Because Disney has the contract from the NBA. So they must promote the NBA to be able to get another contract from the NBA. So these people will tell you bold-faced lies, and you got to use your brain sometimes. The LeBron fans, these people, these people are idiots. So let's look at this. LeBron James, since 2018-19, has basically made over $300 million from load management, right? In 6 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, he's been in LA and only played 55 games, 67 games, 45 games, 56 games, 55 games, and 71 games. Wow. So let's see, 5 times he never played 70 games. In 1, 2, 3, 4 times. No, hold on real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 times he never even played 60 games. And 1 time he played 70 games, and 0 times did he play 80 games or 82 games. And they're screaming how this guy is the most durable, athletic. Folks, you can't make this up. How's this guy doing this? How's he playing all these years? Well, since he came to LA, he's been sitting on the bench. He's not been playing. For a long time, he ducked Kevin Durant. All this year, he ducked Anthony Edwards. He was ducking somebody else, too. I forget who he was ducking all the time before. Who was he ducking? I forget the opponent. But, yeah, Anthony Edwards this year. Kevin Durant for, like, 2, 3 years before this year? Man. So what are we talking about? We're talking about this guy has stole so much money from Laker fans. And the Laker organization has let it happen. These people, fans, pay so much money for popcorn, hot dogs, $10 for popcorn, $20 for a hot dog, $30 for a beer, $50 for parking. No telling how much for tickets, depending on where you sit at. Overpriced merch for a guy who doesn't even play. So basically, for the Lakers, something that never in the history of the Lakers have they only been about money and not winning, right? Because this guy's basically his entire career since he went to Miami has been about a circus act. A circus act, right? When he took his talents to South Beach. So people in the circus who perform, they take their talents from city to city to city. What did this guy do? Take his talents city to city to city. It's been a circus act. This guy hasn't been about winning. Promised 7 championships in Miami. 1 championship in 13 seasons in Cleveland. 1 bubble championship in LA. So the first year he missed the playoffs, activated playoff mode and missed the playoffs. The second season, won a bubble championship in Mickey World while the whole earth was shut down and sick. And they say this was the hardest championship of all time. Remember, they always got to come up with these narratives for this guy. His career just can't be his career of greatness, winning statistical titles, winning championships, playing all 82 games, 5 or more times, being an elite positional player, having positional skills, making teammates better by not trading them, by not rearranging the team all the time, being a great defender. Instead of saying he should have won Defensive Player of the Year, it should have been clear cut. It should have been clear cut. How does a guy at 6'9" never have a 100-block season when Jordan had it back-to-back season with his 200-plus steals? And LeBron never had a 100-block season? 6'9", 250, 270, depending on when the PEDs kick in, allegedly. Never had a 100-block season. And this guy crying about Defensive Player of the Year? Wow. Maybe if he was a guard and he was like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and he didn't have a 100-block season, I could understand. But yeah, that was another narrative. Hasn't made a defensive team since he was in his 30s. What was that, 2014? Not even a second team. Hasn't made an MVP. Hasn't been MVP, what, for 11 years or something like that? And this is why his whole career is about narratives. So you're not able to think for yourself. Why hasn't this guy had another MVP since then? Why hasn't this guy had another defensive team since then? How come this guy only had 2 statistical titles? How come he always has to build super teams? How come he always needs more? How come he always has to come back? How come he lost so much? How come he doesn't have a jump shot consistently like Michael Jordan? Or great post moves like a great power forward? Or a great defender? All these things I just asked, there's always a narrative of why that isn't. The media is full of narratives to protect this guy of why those things aren't possible for this guy. Next season, exit first round. Next season, missed the playoffs. Missed the play-in with another super team. Next season, swept in the Western Conference Finals by a plumber with no All-Star teammate, no Hall of Fame teammate, no All-Star teammate, no All-NBA teammate, no defensive teammate, and a guy who could barely jump off the ground. And we already see what it is. LeBron had all those, a defensive teammate, All-NBA, top 75, All-Star. And Joker had none of that. Why? Because Joker has positional skills. Like I've said before, the least athletic you are, the more fundamental skills you're going to have to play basketball. Now, if you can be athletic and have great fundamental skills, like a lot of guys in the past, that's great too. That's even better. Like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, a lot of these guys, Kobe Bryant. The list goes on and on. But Joker isn't too athletic. So he has to have a lot of fundamental skills to be a great player. LeBron, his game is just based off of athleticism. This season, first round gentleman sweep by the same plumber. And this plumber had the same help. And we're really starting to question, even though Jamal Murray hit some 2-game winners in last series against the Lakers, other than that, what has he done in these playoffs? So it's a question mark, could he really even make an All-Star or All-NBA team? Because this guy isn't consistent. He's not consistent. So when we look at 6 years, basically, of LeBron being with the Lakers, this is what this $300 million got you. And now they're crying in this offseason. What's he going to do? Where's he going to go? He deserves another extension. For what? The results are going to be the same. Like I said, the Lakers are better off without this guy. Are better off. We don't see glimpses of it when the guy's not playing. They can hold their own. And to me, I think they could be a top 5 team. Because I think this guy is holding them back. Because they can't play full throttle. Because he won't be able to make it through a season. And they won't be able to get that play in. So the reason why they're always in the play in, because they don't play up to their ability. And that's full throttle, all in. If they played that way, it would be over for LeBron James. So I thought I'd just make this video. I mean, the proof is in the pudding when you see some of this stuff with your own eyes instead of a narrative. And it's obvious who's going to run a narrative for this guy unless he's paying them off. Or unless the NBA is paying them off to run this foolish narrative about how he's been this great longevity player. Now, do we bang on players for, not performing in year 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21? No. You're not supposed to be playing at an elite level. So you're not going to, we weren't banging on the Vince Carters or the Michael Jordans or the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, even though he was still winning. And players like that who played a long time, the Kobe's, the Dirks, we weren't banging on them because we wasn't getting it shoved in our face how great their longevity was. Yes, they weren't putting up the stats, but at the same time, this guy's only putting up stats because the league done got so weak and he's straight arming people right in the mouth, the forehead, the chest, the stomach, every time he comes down the lane. Like a running back. To get 3/4 of his points. Flopping and crying and begging. And missing all these games. So would his averages be that high if he played all these games? I don't think so. It's almost like when we was talking about when he went to Miami, his field goal percentage just started to shoot up, right? Because now he didn't take as many shots because he had Wade, Bosh. Then he went over there to Cleveland. He had Kyrie. He had Love. So his field goal percentage shot up because he knew when he was in Cleveland, the guy never, I think for one season in Cleveland, he shot 50% from the field. Was it the, let me see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think it was one season, his 7th season, he shot, it was 6 or 7, he shot 50% from the field. It took him all that seasons. All those seasons. All those seasons. Michael Jordan shot 50% his first season. In 5 out of his first 7 seasons. As a guard. Shooting 70% of his shots outside the paint. For LeBron, it was in reverse. So he already knew he was in trouble. He was going to have to get some help because he couldn't keep taking all these shots because his field goal percentage was going to be not horrible. It wasn't going to be good, though, for as many shots as he shoots in the paint. It was going to be under 50% for his career, especially if he played the normal, 13 to 15 years. But once he started getting other teams' #1 franchise players and pretty much #2s and #3s on other teams, he could take less shots. And the majority of his shots now, a lot of them will be in the paint. So this is what you get from this guy. Just a paycheck. That's all he's been playing for since he went to the Lakers. And we talked about that before, that in 2018, once he lost those finals, he was 3-6 in the finals, and that basically he's going to LA for a paycheck. And that's all he's been doing since he's been in LA, to get a paycheck. And more narratives told for this guy. That's it. So for the Laker fans, is the organization isn't about winning. It hasn't been for a while. Or they would have told this guy to move on. Because all they're doing is giving him all this money, so they can charge you all this money, so you can see the circus act. Because people outside of LeBron fans, they really don't care for this guy. They don't even have him in the top 10. So one more year of, no, well, he's trying to get this extension. There's still more money. And the Lakers organization, still more money from their fans. And that's about it. That's all you're going to get from this guy. Longevity, failures. Tell me what you think.